Welcome to episode 2 of our Aston Martin Save on F1 Manager. Difficult first race? I think we'll do better in this one. So after a difficult first race in Bahrain, the board are a little bit disappointed with how things went, and I can only agree with them. It wasn't the best start to our career here at Aston Martin, but we do get the post-race debrief where we can see that Max Verstappen is now leading the Drivers' Championship after that win. But more importantly, we've had an upgrade come through, some suspensions come through, which is hoping to improve the car. It's on car one at the moment. We have manufactured another couple of parts. It's going to cost us 150,000, but they will be ready for the next Grand Prix in Jeddah, and we can get them on both cars. So that's going to be an upgrade. Also, we've had a message from Chris Coney saying we need to have a look at some car development, and that's what we're going to delve into now to see what other areas we can do to improve, because my God, do we need some improvements. So time to design some upgrades, and we've decided that as cornering, as low speed, medium speed cornering has been very poor. In fact, it's amongst the poorest on the grid. So we've took steps to address that issue. We've got a new underfloor coming and a new front wing. They're both going to be ready for the 29th of April. So we've got a bit more suffering to do before we can get these car parts on the car. We've assigned as many engineers as we possibly can and rushed both for increased speed in getting these on the car. Also, it's a bit more costly, but we have got a lot of money to play with, so I don't think that's a bad thing at all. So hopefully, once these come on, we're going to be a little bit more competitive. More upgrades coming, but this time on the facility side of it, because we've decided that a factory upgrade, get it up to level 3, should increase the effectiveness, should give us some benefits in terms of development as well. So upgrading the factory, 11.5 million it's cost, 100 days it's going to take to complete, but again, keeps us progressing, keeps us moving forward, and hopefully will benefit the team long term. And in preparation for next season, we're now starting to do a bit of scouting. Both of our drivers, as we know, contracts are ending at the end of this season, and the man we've chose to scout first is Theo Pucheri. Young man, 18 years of age, 72 rated, and if that's not enough to get you excited, great hair as well. So Theo Pucheri, he's the first driver we're going to scout to see if he could possibly be one of our drivers next season. And it's not just drivers that we're going to be scouting either. We've recognised that possibly these two guys are not up to it. This guy's only got a year remaining on his contract. I'm willing to let him see that out. Ian Gregg, however, 4 years on his contract. We're not overly chuffed with that. So what we're going to do is we're going to scout a new head of dynamics. And the lady that we've identified is Roberta Pellegrini. 34 years of age, only 70 rated, but she's only young, and I'm sure we could develop her a lot better than we could Arian. So we're going to do some standard scouting on Roberta Pellegrini, and hopefully that comes back with a positive report, and we can look to get her in ASAP. It's time for our second race weekend now, and Jeddah is next up. So circuit-wise, high-speed circuit, the corners just keep coming at you. A lot of ex-drivers and current drivers absolutely love this circuit, the way it's built. It's a cracking looking circuit as well. The scenery around it, they've really done a cracking job. Obviously the first Grand Prix only just in 2021. There is a high chance of safety cars in this race, so that's something we've got to be aware of. As before, performance targets, we aren't going to be setting any guarantees. I'm not convinced we're going to reach Q2, and I'm not convinced we're going to hit any fastest laps or anything like that. So we've got incentives, but no guarantees being set. Let's get stuck into the weekend.
Formula One is back. Welcome to one of the fastest circuits on the calendar here at Jeddah. The Saudi Arabian Grand Prix is about to kick off, and the atmosphere here is electric. The Jeddah Street Circuit has one of the fastest average speeds, as well as the most corners of any track on the calendar. Good high-speed downforce is going to make life in the fast lane a little easier for drivers here this weekend. We might still be early in the season, but that doesn't mean we can sit back and relax. Everything is up for grabs, and nothing is certain at this stage. Let's get this underway.
So we've completed the practice sessions, we've been tweaking the setups, and I've got to say that's one of the most interesting bits of the game so far, is tweaking the setup, sending the drivers out, getting the feedback and then sorting it out and trying to get the optimal setup for the cars. I'm quietly confident that we can possibly sneak one car into Q2 here. The new suspension is going to hopefully pay dividends, and the setup, both drivers are pretty confident in it, so we're going to get his first laps underway. So let's get Seb Vettel out first.
Radio check. Okay, 1, 2, loud and clear.
Okay, it's green now.
And there goes Sebastian Vettel, and then I think we'll get a minute and then we'll send Lance out as well. But like I said, both got new suspension, so quietly confident we can do okay here. All about getting them tyres warm. We found that the hard compound tyre really came into its own after sort of 5 or 6 laps maybe. which looked pretty decent for us. Like I said, if we were way off the pace of the McLarens. We were sort of 4 or 5 tenths, but I'm hoping this new suspension that we've got, it might just sort of even that out, and we'll get Lance out now as well. So let's just get it from the driver's point of view on this warm-up lap. This circuit, the corners just come at you thick and fast as you make your way through the circuit, and it's a gorgeous. I mean, still can't get over the visuals on this game. I think they're absolutely outstanding for a manager game. Unbelievable. So that's Sebastian on his warm-up lap. Let's go back to Stroll. Just making his way, warming those tyres up. And if we have a look now, Seb is not going to be too far off getting onto his lap. Just speed that up a little bit, and then we will ride on board with Sebastian Vettel as he looks to start his first flying lap here at Jeddah. Seb, can we do something pretty special and get into Q2? First chicane, straight on the power, and then the corners just keep coming and coming at you. But it's looking pretty decent so far. Obviously purple, as he's the first one out on track. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of lap time he manages to set here. Probably around the 134s, I would imagine. And I would suggest that Lance has probably gone a little bit quicker than him. If we also have a look at Lance's timings. DRS open now, and he's round. Just the sound of the engines as well. It's just, I can't believe how good this is. Right, Sebastian Vettel comes to cross the line. I was expecting sort of 134. Wow. 131.5 for Sebastian Vettel. Superb stuff. Still been a cool down lap now. Let's switch across quickly to Lance Stroll, who's now on his flying lap. Vettel 7 tenths off of Yuki Tsunoda. Can Stroll get any closer? It'll be interesting to see. I highly doubt it, but you never know as he comes down the start-finish straight and crosses the line, and Lance Stroll goes 2 tenths off Sebastian Vettel. So up against the Alpha Tauri, not quite in there at this moment in time. Right then, as we can see, that optimism might be being realised. Sebastian Vettel is currently P14 after the first round of laps. Lance Stroll in 16th. So, there is hope. We're going to get Lance Stroll out now. And then we'll get Sebastian out as well. We've got plenty of time. Hopefully, if we make it into Q2, that could be big, big celebrations for us. As all the cars are now coming out onto the track. I admitted that we've got a McLaren and a Haas behind us, and Vettel's also got the Mercedes Lewis Hamilton down there as well. But our two guys are both out together. Hopefully they'll give themselves a little bit of space. But we'll fast forward now as they get round towards the final corner to start the flying laps. Right, let's get on to Sebastian Vettel first and foremost. as he starts this flying lap. Now, can we make it into Q2? It's going to be difficult, but I have got faith that Sebastian can do it. Maybe Lance Stroll can. He's been about 2 tenths slower than Seb all weekend. I'm assuming that Hamilton, Norris and Magnussen are going to improve. I expect us to be below in the drop zone, unfortunately, and not make it into Q2, but we can hope. Leclerc's currently on pole, but only by 0.03 of a second from Max Verstappen. Perez currently in third, Bottas. Sainz down in 10th as well, so he didn't have a great first lap either. So there's all to play for here at Jeddah this evening. And we'll just ride on board with Sebastian Vettel into this left-hander, and then gets the power down again on the exit. He has set a green. Lance Stroll not improving in the first sector, but Vettel is improving. Down the long, windy streets of Jeddah. Green second sector to Sebastian Vettel, and green second sector for Lance Stroll as well. It's all on Sebastian Vettel as he has dropped into the drop zone 0.6 of a second to Mick Schumacher. Can he improve? I'd expect Lewis Hamilton to get out of that, and he has. It's now around sort of 6 to 8 seconds to Danny Ricciardo, but he's green in both sectors. Can he pull something out of the hat here? Sebastian Vettel comes up to the finish line, and it is P17 and Stroll 18. Again, about 2.5 seconds off Lance Stroll and Mick Schumacher. In fact, Albon's beat Stroll. So Albon split the two Aston Martins, and it is again disappointing. 17th and 19th for our team. All that optimism didn't come into fruition, but the points are won on a Sunday, so let's see what we can do on the race day.
The grid is packed and there's electricity in the air, but there's no surprises in that. It's race day.
Aston Martin did a good job during qualifying, and they're pretty much where everyone expected them to be on the grid. Now, it's up to them to defy expectations during the race itself. Haas gave a solid performance in qualifying, and they'll be happy enough with their grid position here. Let's see if they can make it work for them. And we've got a clear night here beneath a starry sky. If the weather holds steady, we should be in for a spectacular race indeed.
Well, this is certainly going to be a challenging but no doubt exciting race here in Jeddah.
Right, and so race 2 here at Jeddah, and we are going to split the strategies once again, but this time we're going to take a little bit of a risk with Sebastian Vettel. As we know, we're starting at the back of the grid again, but I'm tempted to use the soft tyres. We've got 2 sets of fresh soft tyres, which are going to give us 21 laps alive. So the plan is to start on softs, switch to medium, and then to softs again. So we've got quite an aggressive 2-stop strategy with Sebastian Vettel. Lance Stroll very much on an opposite strategy. I'm starting on the mediums, going straight onto us, so he's just on the 1-stop. But I feel splitting the strategy gives us a little bit more versatility. I'm expecting to be a safety car, so we've got to be adaptive. But let's try something different. Why not? We're at the back of the grid. Let's see what we can do.
Clear skies tonight, with the drivers having now arrived at their grid positions. And there's Sebastian Vettel. Slower than most yesterday, so today they'll be starting from the bottom half of the grid. There's Lance Stroll, down the grid. They'll be starting the race from the bottom half of the grid, so there's a fair bit of ground to make up. The race start is mere seconds away. It's almost time.
Here we go then,
Saudi Arabian
second
Grand
race.
Prix. It's lights out, and away we go.
Right, we're going to go straight on board with Sebastian Vettel on that soft compound tyre. I'm expecting him to be aggressive at the start of this race into turn 1. Is there going to be any contact, any incidents? No, clean first corner. And it's a decent getaway. But it looks like we've had Lance Stroll has gained a position maybe off the start. No, he's still in 19th. He's obviously had a little battle there with Latifi.
You've done a good job.
But I'm expecting early progress from Sebastian Vettel. That'd be the ideal start for this Grand Prix.
And there's an overtake from Williams.
So let's have a quick look at what happened at the start. So it looks like Stroll did get ahead into the first corner, but straight away after he's been took again by Albon, so he's back into position. So, but let's not be too despondent. Long way to go, and I do expect Stroll to beat Albon over the course of the race. But we are going to ride on board with Sebastian Vettel for most of this first part of this Grand Prix because he is on that soft compound. I'm expecting big things from Sebastian Vettel. If he can keep up with Magnussen and Schumacher, he should be making inroads on these tyres. He's going to be on the faster compound tyres for most of this race, Sebastian Vettel. It's about if he can utilise that advantage, but we will have to see. But straight away we see Magnussen, he's pulling out. We nearly lost DRS. We're going to have to deploy ERS, sorry.
Energy. Okay.
We can't afford to lose. I cannot believe Sebastian Vettel is losing that DRS range and falling outside of a second. Surely not. That's it. He's caught up a bit more now, so fair play to him. He's rectified. Maybe he's just had an error. But he's got to keep to the back of Kevin Magnussen. If we lose the DRS at this circuit, that could be an absolute killer for us in this Grand Prix. But my God, this is some circuit. So high speed. Must be an absolute pleasure to drive. Looks like Stroll's just sticking with Albon at this moment in time, which is fair enough. Like I say, I expect Stroll's basically fighting for 18th at this moment. I don't see him doing any better than that. But Vettel, certainly, I'm trying to... If we can beat one of the Haasers, I will be delighted with that return from this weekend. In the early stages of this Aston Martin save, it's been difficult, but I'm pretty sure as we progress through the season, we are going to catch the Haasers, maybe the AlphaTauris and the McLarens as well. So we're still confident we can make inroads, but we've got to get to the end of this lap, get DRS enabled, and then we're on the back of Magnussen. But I'm a bit upset he's not managed to make any moves on this soft compounder tyre. We might as well, while that's happening, we'll have a quick look at what Lance is doing just behind. He's sticking with Albon pretty comfortably, although the gap from Albon to Vettel's now quite a bit. It's over 1 second, so he's not going to get pulled along. Lance should be able to sort Albon out pretty soon after that DRS is enabled. And we will now go back to Sebastian Vettel. We'll have to turn the ERS down again. ERS, DRS. And it looks like there has been a spinning sector 1. Yellow flags are out. Not quite sure who that's for.
Yellow ahead. Yeah.
It's Alex Albon. And that's going to do us the world of good.
Now we see the Williams here.
And I think you've got to give Lance a bit of credit. He's obviously been a bit too eager there on the throttle pedal. He's got Lance behind him. And that's going to put Lance into free air. So, hopefully, Lance will be able to pull away now, but Vettel's losing DRS. And he's lost DRS. That's not good at all. Especially on the soft compounded tyre. I mean, let's have a look at everybody's tyres holding up. The softs are doing pretty well. In fairness, in comparison to the mediums, they're doing quite well. Magnussen's on hards. And Vettel still can't catch him on the soft compounded tyre. That really shows how slow we are at this moment in time.
Still a lot to play for.
Vettel's now 2 seconds to Magnussen.
And a new position, just gained by Williams.
Latifi and Stroll are really going to be battling it out with the DRS. So I think what we'll do now is we'll switch to map view and fast forward a little bit and just keep an eye on things as they go on.
Martin have just gained a race position.
Looks
We can take a
like
look
there's
now.
been a crash.
So this was
We've
the
had an
Aston Martin.
overtake. Superb work from Lance Stroll. That's lovely work. Absolutely brilliant work from Lance Stroll. There has been a crash in Sector 1. Looks like Gasly, I'm guessing. Vettel's now up to 16th. And this is the real first crash we've seen on this game. So let's have a quick look.
Looks like Ocon.
Gasly and Ocon. Oh dear, Gasly and Ocon. Well, that's two positions we can look to gain. They've got a penalty, right? So Gasly's now behind Vettel. Vettel's very much on the back of Danny Ricciardo now. So we're on lap 6. And Lance Stroll. I'm amazed Gasly's still in the race, if I'm honest. If we cut back to Stroll's POV, he's on the back of Gasly at this moment in time. Gasly has got damage by the looks of it. Yeah, Gasly's got damage. He's going to be coming in a second, so... But no safety car.
That's it.
So the mediums are holding up really, really well for Lance at this moment in time. Superb stuff. And Sebastian Vettel has overtaken Esteban Ocon, who I'm guessing is also struggling as well after that crash. He is. And Sebastian Vettel's just followed Danny Ricciardo through. Now then, could we overtake this McLaren? He is on hard compound tyres, but Sebastian Vettel is right up his gearbox at this moment in time. And Sebastian Vettel's tyre wear looks as though it's doing superbly well. He is. These soft compound tyres are holding on well. Getting a little bit warm, but Seb's doing really well at this moment in time. As we go back to Lance.
Doing a good job, that's going to help you.
Yeah, Lance is doing pretty well, and he's overtook Gasly. We saw that. Obviously, Gasly had got damage, I imagine, got in the pits, so Lance has gained a position as well. Superb stuff. Ocon's now in the pit. We're going to gain another position here. And I reckon now we can... once we've got round turn 1 with Lance, I reckon we can get him to use that ERS a little bit and try and put some distance between himself and Latifi. I think that makes sense. Go for it, lad.
Yeah.
And he's doing very well on the fuel as well, so I think we'll push him. We'll get... he's in free air now. He's got 6 seconds to Vettel, so we're going to get Lance to push for a little bit to see if he can put some distance between himself and the Williams. Meanwhile, Sebastian Vettel on the soft compounded tyre, he's still in DRS of Danny Ricciardo. Ricciardo's lost DRS to Magnussen. But these soft compound tyres doing pretty well for Seb at this moment in time. And I think we can afford to let him push on the fuel a little bit more.
You can stop, lift and coast.
Copy.
Now this is a more entertaining race than the first one. Straight away in this second race we're looking like we're making a few inroads at least. And we're a bit more involved here, and I'm pretty confident on our strategy options as well. I'm interested to see if this aggressive two-stop with Sebastian's going to work. The soft onto mediums should give us some real pace. Obviously Danny Rick's only on the one stop, he's going straight on from hards onto mediums. Oh, and he had a little look there. Can he get him down the next straight? I think he will. Go on, Sebastian. We're going to stay on board with Sebastian Vettel. He has got DRS to Danny Ricciardo. Can he overtake him down the inside into turn 1? Will Danny Ricciardo go defensive? He looks like he might. Nope, Sebastian's not going to be able to get him into turn 1. And now we've got 2 Haas's in front of us as well, which is probably not helping us. Meanwhile, Lance behind, if we just have a quick look at his timings, he's putting some time between himself and the Williams. So Lance a solid P16 at this moment in time. He is on the one stop and he's making them tyres last significantly well. So well done to Lance. People who don't rate him, I'm pretty comfortable with him at this moment in time. Obviously Sebastian Vettel's a big name and the former world champion, and we're lucky to have him. If we can keep him past the end of this first season, that would be fantastic. We're obviously retiring in real life, but we shall see. I'm still hoping that that Sebastian's going to be able to... He's on push anyway. And we're just going to switch Lance back to balance now.
Save fuel.
Copy.
And on the ERS as well. Lance has had his little push. He's got 3-second gap now to Latifi, which is fantastic. And Seb is still working away at Danny Ricciardo. If we have a look at the front, we haven't had a look at the front in this race. Leclerc still leads from Verstappen, from Sainz, and then Sergio Perez has got a chance to overtake Carlos Sainz into this first corner. He's got the ARS open. Is he going to manage the move? He isn't. Perez on mediums and Sainz on hards, so I'm expecting that Sergio will be looking to get past him at some point, but that Ferrari is pretty quick round Jeddah. As we can see, Leclerc has broke the DRS of Verstappen as well, although Verstappen has got the fastest lap so far. But as we're on to lap 9, there's a big gap between the Mercedes and the top two teams so far in this season, as we can see. Stroll is actually starting to catch Vettel a little bit, which I think we've got to be a little bit concerned about. Vettel's got to really make these tyres last probably another couple of laps, I'd suggest. He's on push at this moment in time. We really need him to get to lap sort of 13 on the softs, but there is an incident at sector 1, and I'm going to guess DRS disabled.
Safety car.
Right, safety car.
Stay as close to the delta as you can.
Big moment in this race here. I'm quite happy with Stroll. It's not time for Stroll to come in at all. Do we pick Sebastian Vettel onto hards? I'm not too sure. He were starting to wear. It does make sense possibly to switch him onto the hard compounder tyre. I think he comes in for hards now, Sebastian. Or do we go? We have got 2 sets of mediums, in fairness. Let's go medium. And I think we'll leave Stroll out.
Sounds like there's been a crash.
And it's Magnussen into turn 13. We're going to have a quick look at this crash.
On Kevin Magnussen here.
Oh, he hasn't crashed into his teammate, has he? No, he's just locked up massively. Oh, and that is a bad one for K-Mag. Real bad one, but opportunity knocks. Lance Stroll is on the 1 stop. Does it make sense to switch him onto a 2 stop? Or do we leave him as is? I think we've got to be interested in what the other cars are doing as well. And we don't want to double stack, so I think let's just get Sebastian in. And we will go from there. Right, Seb's in.
Copy that.
So we're going to do the 2 stop. We're going to go medium is our plan. Zhou's in the pit as well. That's interesting. What's Guan Yu Zhou going on to? He was on the hard compound tyre. That's interesting. Sebastian's back out on the mediums. He's going to come up to the 2 Williams now. Now one of the Williams is on mediums, one's on hards. But Sebastian obviously on fresh mediums. I would expect to get past them pretty quickly. Lance Stroll in a heady 14th position at this moment in time, staying out on the medium compounder tyre. Like I say, he's on a 1 stop, so it makes sense to leave him out for a little longer. But now on the restart, we definitely want both of them pushing on the restart. If we have a look at the front, all bunching up now, and that's going to help Verstappen as well. Obviously, Verstappen, we're out of DRS range, so it's going to be a real exciting race from now on up the top as well. But it is Leclerc that leads from Verstappen with Sainz just behind, and then Perez. It's brought the Mercedes back into play as well, but the early pace would suggest that the Mercedes will drop off once we get back to green flag running. And it looks like we've had another crash as well, while in the safety car.
Now we see the Williams here.
It was, it's Albon. Under safety car, Alex Albon has
Nobody else
crashed.
was involved. That
And
was a
Lance
big
Stroll's
crash.
really fortunate not to get caught up in that.
The team are really disappointed. with
You've
that.
got to be disappointed
Let's
if you're
hope it doesn't
Williams
set the
there. And
balance
Albon's a driver that we're going to be looking at towards the second season. But that, I mean, that's really, if that safety car comes in as well, we're on lap 11 now, so it's been out a couple of laps. But Albon, surely, he's going to have to come in a second. That puts Vettel just behind Latifi. And Latifi's on the hard compounded tyre, while Vettel's on fresh mediums, so... all to play for on the restart. If Sebastian can get a good restart here and belt past Latifi. Safety car is in this lap, right.
Looks like Aston Martin have just gained a
That's obviously just Albon going into the pit lane. So big moments on the restart here. Both guys on push. Lance obviously 72% on those medium compound tyres. And we are getting ready.
There is no overtaking until the control line, and there'll be 2 laps with no DRS.
2 laps with no DRS, right. Leclerc is backing them up a little bit. Verstappen's still warming them hard compound tyres. And has he bolted? He has now. We're back to green flag running. Right, back to our guys. We've got Sebastian Vettel on the back of Latifi. Lance Stroll on the back of Guan Yu Zhou. And we'll ride on board with Sebastian Vettel. He's the more likely at this moment in time to overtake, you would suggest. Yeah, Albon's in the pits, so that's fine. Right. Sebastian really needs to get past Latifi as quick as he possibly can here. Latifi is on the hard compounded tyre, so he's going to have to probably overtake him again in this race. And that safety car coming in is not coming at a good time for Alexander Albon. He's now 20 seconds, he's a pit stop behind Alexander Albon. But what can Sebastian Vettel do? It's hard to overtake without the DRS. But I reckon we've got the pace over him, and he's straight away, he's gaining down this straight into the right-hander. And then the left. Total pressure on Nicholas Latifi. Lance Stroll is already out of DRS range of Guan Yu Zhou, so obviously in the much faster car we can't deal with the pace of the Alfa Romeos. Sebastian Vettel, oh, going for a move, not quite. And he's all over the back of Nicholas Latifi here. As soon as he gets past him, I'm basically going to let him pass Lance Stroll as well. That's the plan, and then to let Lance Stroll hopefully pick up the DRS and get away. Both of them are on push in terms of the... This is it. Come on, Seb. He just can't quite get close enough. Latifi is defensive into that corner. He's going for the inside line. Sebastian Vettel. Can he get round that outside? They are side by side coming out of that corner, and Sebastian Vettel has done it. Well done, my friend.
That's it.
Great stuff. Absolutely superb driving from Sebastian Vettel as he now chases after Lance Stroll.
With a great play there.
We saw it live, so we're not going to watch the replay again, and he's already pulled out 7 tenths on Nicholas Latifi. If he can break now the DRS, we are absolutely laughing. In fact, we're going to tell him now to deploy the ERS.
So use energy if you need it.
Yeah, and see if he can get away. And if he can get up to Lance Stroll, he's already broke DRS. That is superb work from Sebastian Vettel. Yeah, superb work. That's why he's our #1 driver. Right, the next big thing is P14 and 15 is on in this race, absolutely. If Seb can get in the DRS now, until he catches Lance, I reckon we just drop Lance back to neutral on the fuel.
Save fuel.
Okay, okay.
Let's get Seb in DRS range of Lance Stroll. Then we'll swap him.
DRS will be active.
And hopefully Seb can pull Lance along for a few more laps as he gets up towards his pit window. But this is tactical. I'm loving this. Absolutely loving it. Now we're a bit more aware of what's happening in this, and he's in DRS. Well done, Seb. Well done. 1.7 seconds to Esteban Ocon, which Esteban's in a much faster car than ours, it must be said. And we have got options on strategy still. And as soon as he gets up to the back of Lance Stroll, that is when we're going to be looking to swap him. That's okay, Lance, that's okay. And still at the front, it's still Leclerc and Verstappen, but now Verstappen is right up the back of that Ferrari on the hard compounded tyre. Can Verstappen, he's going to look like he's going for a movie, and Max Verstappen down the start finish straight. He's done it, he has. Max Verstappen on the hard compounded tyre. Superb work there from Max. But the both Ferraris have now got DRS. He's got some defending to do here. Can he hold them off? It doesn't look like he can. Leclerc's back overtaking. And Verstappen stays P2. Meanwhile, back wheels, we've got Lance Stroll, who now needs to be told, do not fight your teammate. And that is as good a swap over as you are going to see. Lance Stroll nearly lost a second there though. And he's got Gasly all over the back of him as well. Lance Stroll's got a lot of work to do now, a hell of a lot of work to do. Meanwhile, Seb can push on those tyres now, and hopefully look to bridge that gap to Guan Yu Zhou. But
Let's make sure we keep them behind.
yeah, just try and hold off. I don't think there's much Lance Stroll can do here. He's very vulnerable. He's lost the DRS to Seb. And he's got two much faster cars than an Alfa Tauri and an Alpine behind him. But if he can hold them up on that one stop, it gives Seb a bit more time to get away on those fresh medium tyres and hopefully build the gap. But he's doing well so far. He's doing very well. And we'll have a look at this view from the rear wing of Lance Stroll as we've got Gasly all over the back of him. God, I feel sorry for him here. Gasly is on the hard compounded tyre as well. But he's doing a fantastic job here. It's now 2 seconds to Vettel. As he's down that start finish straight, we can see Seb there in the distance, but I don't think Lance is going to be able to defend this. Is he? Wow. Lance Stroll, take a bow. Whatever you are doing, my friend, absolutely fantastic work. He's allowing Sebastian Vettel to run off into the distance. And on these medium compounded tyre, fantastic work.
No saving required.
Yeah,
And we're going to be aggressive on the tyres now. We are entering that pit window.
The pace a bit.
yeah.
But this is fantastic work from Lance Stroll. I mean, if any doubt that he may want a contract for next year, on these first two races, I've been very, very impressed with what I've seen from Lance. It's been an absolute pleasure to watch him. And in the second worst car on the grid by some distance, he's managing to keep on warm medium tyres an Alfa Tauri and an Alpine behind him. And just to note as well, both of those guys, although on hard tyres, are on fresh hard tyres. So it's fantastic work this from Lance Stroll, and Sebastian Vettel is just going into the distance here. And bearing in mind, Sebastian Vettel's got another set of fresh medium tyres that he's going to be coming onto as well. We will pit Lance Stroll when he gets overtaken. Until that point, we are going to leave him out there to just be an absolute nightmare for these guys behind.
Lift and coast will help.
And it looks like they've got him here, and the Alpha Tauri has got him. Right, and now needs to be told. I think he's probably got another couple of laps in him, maybe, if he can somehow keep in the DRS of at least one of them, maybe Ocon, then that'll do us, I think. I mean, he has brought the DRS to Latifi as well, so he's still doing very, very well here. He's just got to try and keep in that DRS now of these two guys in front and stretch these medium tyres as much as he possibly can. We'll keep an eye on this, and then I think once we've switched him onto hard, then we'll fast forward a little bit. But he's just about still in DRS range. Can he keep with it? Has he got DRS down this next straight? He has. Fair play to him. Ocon and Gasly are battling as well, so that's only going to raid our cause here. And we are still monitoring the pit window. It is a little bit early. I'd like to get to lap 20 if we possibly could. Meanwhile, because these two are battling so much, it's keeping Lance in the DRS, but it's also allowing Vettel to just keep that distance between him. He's still 2.5 seconds in front of Esteban Ocon, and Lance Stroll looks like he's going for a move here down the inside. Can he get the move done? He is on the mediums, he is on the outside as well, and he's still battling away on these tyres. And he's overtaken Pierre Gasly. Fantastic work. And again now, he can chase after Ocon. He's had a second win here.
Looks like Aston Martin have just gained a race position.
And we don't need to watch the replay because we saw it live. It's fantastic work. That Alpha Tauri is quick, but bearing in mind here as well, I'm assuming both of these guys around him have already had a pit stop. Lance Stroll hasn't yet, and he's going to be going on to fresh hard tyres. They may need to pit again. They did switch onto the hards pretty early because of that crash, so they may need to have another pit stop. It's what his pace is going to be like when he gets onto these fresh hards. That next stint for Lance is key. Meanwhile, Sebastian's still just about keeping the lap times in. I'm presuming it's 1.5 seconds now to Ocon, but still doing very much okay here. And we're going to tell him to push a little bit.
You can stop, lift and coast.
Yeah, okay.
But we're going to look at Lance Stroll again. He has got DRS. Esteban Ocon hasn't. My word. Take a bow, Lance Stroll. We're not going to call him in just yet. He's just overtaken again. Another. Wow. Anybody watching this who's dismissed Lance Stroll, let's talk about him because, my word, he's just overtook the Alpine again. He's got the Alpha Tauri and Alpine back behind him on a set of very worn now medium tyres. It's fantastic stuff from Lance Stroll. He's outperforming Vettel, you would suggest, this race. Now, can he again? Can he hold these guys up? We know he can. Keep holding these guys behind up because it's all playing into Sebastian Vettel's hands, who's now up into P10.
Looks like there's been a lockup.
And we're going to watch the Nicholas Latifi lockup as well.
Let's look. We're watching Nicholas Latifi.
Into, is that turn 14 maybe?
Much worse.
And that's really not helped Nicholas Latifi either. But Lance Stroll, we are back with him now. Still doing a fantastic job here. The tyre wear has been better. I reckon another couple of laps. If we can get him to 22. That would be fantastic. Meanwhile, Sebastian Vettel, again, his tyre wears about right. He's going to be pitting around lap, what, 38, 40? And we're going to get him back on them soft compound tyres. Lance Stroll, can he defend this?
Currently P12.
Can he defend this? He's got the Alpha Tauri. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to make a move. He isn't.
Just advanced.
But he is going to keep hold of that DRS of Esteban Ocon now. Or is he? He has broke away. He's broke away. This might be the time to pit. Pit options. We are going onto the hard compound tyre. Pit this lap. Pit this lap. Box, box.
Box, box.
Okay, I'm happy to box.
Good lad. Good lad. He's still on the... Let's get him on a tight with these tyres now.
Come on.
Yeah.
Use every last ounce of these tyres, Lance. And then as soon as you're in the pit lane, I think that's when we will switch to Sebastian Vettel, who's currently P10, defending pretty well against Esteban Ocon, who's now got DRS on him. But that's all looking fine. And I think you've got to say, as far as first stints go, that is one hell of a first stint from Lance Stroll. Who's still having to defend from the Alpha Tauri, and that is the Mercedes of George Russell there as well. Obviously already had his pit stop. But I think we also need to be looking at Sebastian Vettel, because Sebastian Vettel has got a very quick Esteban Ocon behind him now on these hard compound tyres. Let's no, let's leave it. Let's leave it. I was going to move it, but I think we're going to stick with it. But he's managing to hold him off. And Sebastian Vettel has seemed to got the measure of Esteban Ocon on that start-finish straight, which is fantastic. Meanwhile, in goes Lance Stroll. We need a good stop here, guys. 2.7 seconds. It's not fantastic, but it's not devastating either. Fantastic work from the team. And he will go back out now. We're not going to be aggressive. We're going to be standard, and that is all fine. And we'll also be balanced on the fuel saving as well. So Lance Stroll comes back out in 18th, but that should be pretty fine. Now he's going to the end on this set of tyres. And like I say, he's done a cracking first stint, so we're very happy with Lance Stroll. But we are back with Sebastian Vettel, who's currently 3 tenths in front of Esteban Ocon. There is a yellow flag in sector 1. Now, who's that's locked up?
Is that a lock-up?
It's Mick Schumacher into turn 12.
Right, watch this. There's Schumacher. And yes.
Yeah, that runoff area does really help. I mean, anything worse there, he's in the barriers. There could have been another safety car, which possibly wouldn't suit us at this moment in time. We're pretty happy where we are. Now the big question is, Sebastian's doing fantastically well here in P10. He has got about 20 seconds. He has got a pit stop to make, obviously, but he is going to be going on to a much quicker compounded tyre. So there's a lot to think about here. Oh, and there could have been a crash there. I thought Ocon were going to go into the back of him for a second, but he's still doing very, very well. Very, very well. Right, let's have a look at the pit stops. We've all had one pit stop here. The guys at the front still haven't. They're obviously going to be doing the one stop. You'd suggest that Ocon and Gasly are possibly going to have to make another stop, which suits. We're going to be going on to a faster compounded tyre, and I think we might try and stretch it to the softs. Guan Yu Zhou's obviously got another stop to make. Lando Norris has got a stop to make as well. He's not made a stop yet. So everything at this moment in time is looking okay. We know the medium compounded tyre as well, looking from what's happened with Lance, they're pretty good until sort of 45%-ish.
No saving required.
Copy.
But let's have a look at the interval to Latifi as well. He's got 3 seconds to Latifi. Latifi, I believe, is on worn hards. He's got another stop to make. Lance is going to the end, so that's not a problem at all. Mick Schumacher's probably not someone that we are able to catch. But Ocon has got past Sebastian Vettel, which is a bit unfortunate. But now Sebastian Vettel is going to have a go back at Esteban Ocon. And Sebastian Vettel has got that place back. And that is nice work, really nice work from Sebastian Vettel. And I think this battle is just going to continue for the next few laps.
Aston Martin with a great play.
And it was a good overtake as well. How many laps has he done on these tyres now? That's the big question. When did he put them on? He put them on lap 10, so he's currently 13 laps into the stint. So he's got a long way to go on these mediums as of yet, Sebastian Vettel. So if he gets to laps 30, I think that's when we look to pit. I think we look to pit lap 30, get him onto another set of mediums, and we go from there. Meanwhile, Lance can just carry on as he is. So I think on that note, we'll fast forward and come back a bit later on. So we come back to the action, and Sebastian Vettel is in this lap. He's lost a couple of places to Ocon and Gasly. The tyre did start to wear a little bit, and the other guys on the hard compound tyres still going a little bit stronger than Seb at this moment in time. So it does make sense to pit in this lap. His pace has dropped somewhat, so it makes sense to bring him in this lap. We're not going to go onto the soft compound, we are going to go onto the hards. Now, the only other thing is, we need Lance Stroll to overtake Nicholas Latifi, and currently, he should be doing that. Obviously, Latifi's going to lose positions when he makes his pit stop anyway, so that's fair enough. But it'd be nice to get past him on track, which is something we're going to do. We're already pushing on them. And Lance's tyre wear is also looking pretty good as well, so fair play to Lance Stroll. His battle is with Latifi, and I would suggest that on this next straight, maybe.
So Sebastian, make sure you get your pit limiter as you come in the pit lane.
I would suggest on this straight, Lance can possibly get him. He can't. He's still defending well, Latifi here.
This is good, come on.
Can he get past him? Now on this start-finish straight, he's got DRS. There's no way on earth he shouldn't get past him here. Lance Stroll down the inside. He gets the move done before the first corner.
Good job.
And it was a good job that from Lance Stroll. He's past Latifi. That is the Williams dispatch. We've obviously got K-Mag out. 17th is the worst for us now. But what's more interesting is Sebastian Vettel's now on a fresh set of medium compound tyres. He's currently 7 seconds behind Mick Schumacher, who is on used hards. Now, is he going to get to the end? If we have a look in front of him now, he's got Ocon Tsunoda, and Ocon and Tsunoda's probably just too far in front, but depending about his pace on these medium compound tyres, there is an opportunity for P15 here. It depends very much what happens with Mick Schumacher. If we have a look down here, Lance Stroll setting green sector times, that's fantastic stuff. And in terms of the tyre history as well, if we have a look, Seb's gone soft medium, that's fair enough. What happened to Mick Schumacher? Mick Schumacher pit around lap 20, so you'd suggest he can possibly get to the end. We will have to see. We will have to see. But what must be said, it's been a much better race for us as a team so far, and we'll speed up again now. Because both of our guys are in clear air. There's nothing really much happening at this moment, so we'll fast forward and come back towards the end, I would imagine. And we're back on lap 49, just one more lap to go, and the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix. And to be fair, it's been an absolute procession since you were last with us.
I think there's been a lock-up.
There is a possibility that Vettel could get Ocon, and Ocon's just had a lock-up as well. But he's on fresh medium. Seb's tyres are going off the cliff a little bit now. But if we have a look at the front runners, Verstappen is 2 seconds clear of Carlos Sainz at this moment. It's Red Bull from Ferrari, and then Red Bull again in P4. Hamilton's miles back. There is an absolute golfing class like there was at the start of this season in real life between the top 2 teams and Fernando Alonso and the Mercedes. The other teams are just a little bit too far behind. And you would suggest that between ourselves and Williams, there's also a little bit of a golfing class between us and such as the Haas, the Alfa Tauris, the McLarens of this world. There is a little bit of a golfing class there as well. But strategy-wise, Sebastian, it's not made too much of a difference, to be fair. What it has provided is a little bit more action in this race, especially in the first part. Second part of the race, definitely not, as you can guess from the highlights. But this certainly stuff to build on. We are far and away quicker than the Williams cars. I would suggest that, looking at our race pace, I know they were on the slower compounded tyre, the Alpha Tauri and the Alpine.
Last lap.
But
Last lap.
Lance Stroll did a fantastic job for us in holding those guys up, and he battled with them superbly in that lap. Vettel looks like he's got DRS off Verstappen, which is going to help him. And he's now got a Ferrari behind him as well. I can't wait to see while our guys are racing these guys for position. Unfortunately, at the moment, the only time we really see the Ferraris and the Red Bulls is when we're getting blue flags. But let's take the small positives from this race. And I don't think we've got an improved car. I think we're learning more about our drivers. Sebastian's on 36%. He's fine now. Lance is the same. It's basically a procession. But we will keep the eyes on Max Verstappen on his final lap. He's already got the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. It's been an absolutely superb weekend for Max Verstappen. There is a yellow flag in Sector 2. I'm hoping that's not one of our guys. It looks like Lance Stroll's locked up, but he's got enough for a cushion. It looks like he's got enough of a cushion. We'll not watch that. We're not going to take that away from his race. He's got enough for a cushion to Latifi, which is fine. Both of our guys on very worn tyres now, but on different strategies. Both done well. P16 and 17, obviously, with Magnussen's retirement. But take the positives as Max Verstappen comes across the line to win the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix in Jeddah. Carlos Sainz coming in second, Charles Leclerc third, makes it the podium, and Sergio Perez will finish fourth.
Max Verstappen over the finish line.
Fantastic stuff for Max Verstappen, and we will just fast forward now to the end of the race. Let's have a look at the scenes at the end of the race. Hopefully the board will be a bit more satisfied with that performance, as we see Sebastian Vettel getting out of his car.
Sebastian Vettel
Obviously not going to be happy with battling at the back of his grid.
Aston Martin had a good enough weekend, but there's still some margin for improvement here.
I agree, they have some ironing out to do, but they certainly have what it takes to get there.
With the race wrapped up, the team is ranked in 9th in the constructor standings.
And for the next round, Formula One is heading down under. Exciting times ahead in Australia on the shores of the Albert Park Lake.
So there we go then, confirmation of the race results. Max Verstappen, Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc, as we said, Perez, Alonso, Hamilton, Russell, Bottas, Guan Yu Zhou, Tsunoda making up the top 10. Both McLarens outside the top 10, not getting any points. Mick Schumacher, Pierre Gasly and Ocon, who we saw a lot of in that race, battling with our two drivers. Sebastian Vettel and Lance Stroll both making up positions from the starting positions. Very happy with that. Don't think we can be too upset at all. We'll keep improving. There's going to be more upgrades to do in the next race, and performance points again and experience gained, especially for Lance Stroll. Fantastic stuff. So I hope you've enjoyed that second race of this Aston Martin career mode, and I hope to see you down under in Australia on the next one. Bye bye.